There you go. So I'll do the poll a little bit later. Here we go. Okay, found it. All right, so let me know, what is your struggle right now? What is your number one struggle right now? Is it time? Is it finding the time for yourself, for health and wellness? Is it low energy, or maybe you're like, I have no energy? Do you struggle with cravings? Do you struggle with information overload? I get it. You go on the Google, you go on your search engine, and you look for either weight loss or stress management, and there's so much information on there, even pages, right? Is it all of the above? Or is it something else that just isn't mentioned here? I'm curious. What is your number one struggle right now? Low energy. Know what to do, but just don't do it. You are not alone. You are not alone. All the above. We got quite a few all of the above. That was me back in my day. I struggled with all of the above because I worked in a very busy pediatric emergency room. I was a new nurse, and that first year in nursing, if you're a nursing, if you know anyone in healthcare, that first year there's a huge learning curve. We know a lot less than what we know coming out of training. I'm gonna be honest with you. So it's stressful to begin with. Now I'm working in pediatric ER, so we see a lot of really sick kids. And I was stressed out. I was burned out. I had huge bouts of insomnia. I was barely sleeping, and my stress went at an all-time high. And at this point in my life, I was a binge eater. I binge ate all weekend long. Got my binge food Thursday, Friday night. I would eat all weekend long. And then I had an unwritten rule, which I didn't really acknowledge until like a year or so later when I was in recovery, that I had to have all my binge food eaten by the work week, by Monday. Yeah. And then I start again all weekend long. And see, I thought I just needed to lose weight. So when I had my come to Jesus moments, where my birthday's the first week in January, and I gotta be honest, I binged all holiday season long from Halloween all the way, and my birth week, and have a day, I had a whole birth week celebration, birthday celebration. I ate and 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 ate. So when my friends and family took me out to my birthday dinner, I ate very well. I had dessert. We had the birthday cake. Red velvet cake is my favorite cake of all time. And I came home, and I'm single. I have two cats. And I was like, okay, I'm going to continue the birthday celebration. I'm going to watch my favorite movie of all time, a romantic comedy. I've watched this movie, I got to say, about 100 times or more. And I had the rest of the birthday cake. I didn't just have one slice. I didn't have two slices. I literally had the rest of the birthday cake, which was a lot because not everyone likes red velvet cake, on my lap, eating, watching the movie, sitting on my green couch with my black cat Judah on one side, my gray cat Zacchaeus on the other side, and just eating and eating my red velvet cake. And see, the movie was about a woman who was overweight. And it's a comedy. So you kind of see her navigating when she made the decision on New Year's. How many of you have ever made a decision on New Year's? I made a same New Year's resolution 10 years in a row, I gotta admit, where she said, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to stop drinking so much. And you see the whole video montage in the background, and she's working out and she's filling her refrigerator with fresh foods and vegetables. And you're seeing her ditching all the cigarettes, getting rid of the alcohol. And I'm literally with my fork in my hand, fists in the air, going, yeah, you go, girl. So excited for her. And I literally paused and I thought, oh my gosh, where is my you go girl moment? I'm in my early 30s. I'm like, is this going to be the rest of my life? Making the same New Year's resolution year after year after year, seeing little to no results. At my highest weight ever, burnt out, stressed out, insomnia, exhausted all the time. Is this going to be my life? And so at that time, I once again thought I just needed to lose weight. So I looked and I researched, and I didn't want to do another diet because I'd been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got poor health and more weight on top of it. I've done multiple diets. My year as a professional yo-yo dieter, that's like my second job. If can anyone relate to that one? And so I looked and I researched, and I thought there has to be something that I'd been missing all these years when it came to losing weight and keeping it off. And I found there's a whole lot missing, and stress was a huge component because you cannot out diet your stress. You just can't do it. And we're going to go into that a little bit with my presentation today. So thank you so much for sharing. Looks like quite a few all the above on the poll, and a lot You know what to do, but you just don't do it. Thank you so much for sharing. So, here are the results of that if you're interested. Number one struggle right now. We get it. So, we're going to share with you how to get some motivation going, how to conquer low energy, how to know what to eat for your body. That's actually part of my Revitalize and Reclaim event, how to know exactly what to eat for your body. Thank you so much for sharing. So, I researched and I learned that stress was a huge component. There are other things that come into play, stress being very huge. So, my presentation, we're going to start with, I'm going to share with the basics what goes on when we are under stress. What goes on when we are under stress? It impacts every single cell in our body. It really does. And so, when it comes to weight and releasing weight and getting healthy, as I said, you can't out diet a body that's under stress. You just can't do it. So if you feel like you've been doing all the things and eating pretty healthily, and I've got a lot of women who, when they come to me, we look at their eating, they are eating pretty healthily. And when it comes down to it, it's like, oh, your stress is high. Let's work on managing your stress a little bit better. Let's work on it. I'm trying to stream into Facebook and it's not letting me. So let's continue on. It is actually going. Okay, so it's going. Perfect. So let me share my screen. Feel free to take notes. By the way, you do get an action workbook. Let me give you links to all of the links for today for me in my presentation. As we go through the speakers, I'm going to be giving you the link to their gift in this chat so that you don't have to go off and get into the page. So I'm going to give you all of that, and the speakers are aware. I'm going to be doing that for you guys. So here are all the links for my sessions. You got the workbook. There's day one's gifts. By the way, if you're like, I don't know if I have time to even watch the replays, pick up the VIP access pass. You'll get lifetime access to all of the presentations as well as the gifts. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat as we are presenting, because we're going to be answering them as we go along today. So let me share my screen. I'm going to be sharing with you from stress to success, managing stress for a healthier and fitter you. So here's what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover what stress does to your body and how it impacts your weight and your weight loss efforts and your health. I'm going to share with you a method on how to de-stress in 2 minutes or less, actually, so you can resist those sweets if cravings is a struggle for you, not binge eat, and without giving up your favorite foods. I'm going to share with you how can you burn fat, because we often talk about weight loss, weight release, but it's actually fat that we want to release, not muscle, not anything else. We just want to release the fat, right? It's as easy as breathing. And I'm going to help you discover when you learn and implement this one tool, you can keep the weight off for good because it comes to stress management tools. So the secret number one, we're going to need to start our day off right. Because let's be honest, oftentimes as soon as our foot hits the floor, we get out of bed, stress is with us. Whether you have young ones at home and they're in your face, they need something. I have 2 elderly senior cats that I rescued, and when they were babies, literally off the streets, and they're at a point in their life that sometimes they puke and poo at the same time. Right? We've got stress. And then you're 10 minutes late for work, you can't find your keys. So let's start your day off right to combat the stress, because stress will really deplete your energy. So we need to start our day off right. Secret number 2, less of this is actually going to give you more. Number 3, breathe, breathe, and breathe some more, but there's a proper technique in which to do that. So how stress affects you. First off, you might have heard of the stress hormone cortisol. Did you know that cortisol is actually a specific type of sugar? It is sugar. And we actually, in an immediate stress event, not a chronic stress event, but an immediate stress event, we do want to have an immediate source of energy, which would be either cortisol, sugar. So there's a reason for that. However, it was designed to help us to either fight the stress or to run away from the stress. I don't know about you, but my stress nowadays, I'm really not fighting it or physically running away. I might run away emotionally. How many of you can relate to that one? But it's more of a chronic mental, emotional stress for a lot of us nowadays. It's not something we need to physically run away from or fight, physically fight. So what happens is our we got cortisol, it increases, which is associated with weight gain, especially in the belly. So if you have belly fat that's difficult to release and your hormones are okay and it's not a hormonal issue, potentially it's a stress issue with that. Stress decreases nutrient absorption. Here's what happens. There's we have the central nervous system, our brain. It's where I picture a brain, right? Where there's two pathways of that. There's the sympathetic nervous system, think S for stress. Then there's a parasympathetic nervous system, think P for peace, peace, rest, and digest. Only one can be turned on at one time. There's never both. It's only one or the other. So if one is turned on, the other is turned off. If we could turn the other on, the other is automatically turned off. Our body will always choose to help us during a stress event because it can be fatal. So we got an increase in cortisol, we got an increase in sugar. Now we got decreased nutrient absorption. Why? It's because our blood is diverted from our stomach and our intestines to our arms and our legs to help us run and fight the stress. But once again, most stress tends to be more of an emotional, mental kind of stress, right? So because the blood's been diverted from our small intestines, that's where our nutrients are absorbed into our body. We're not getting that. So we're either urinating them out, we're peeing out those nutrients. Now we're really depleted because our B vitamins, which are essential for energy, and our vitamin D, and all those nutrients and vitamins and minerals that help us with energy, we're not uptaking them. And stress depletes our energy as it is. So now we're like, even more low in energy. Plus, if you are eating healthily and you're getting enough protein, you're not uptaking that protein. So there is muscle wasting that can occur, which is why I say ditch the scale. Scale tells you nothing because we got to look at what's your proportion of fat to muscle, lean muscle mass. So now we're high sugar and we're decreasing our nutrient absorption. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a bind here. It increases we're urinating out our calcium, which is important for heart and muscle, magnesium, which naturally calms the body down. It's a smooth muscle relaxer. We're losing potassium, was essential for heart. How many of you have ever had palpitations during stress events? Yeah. Zinc, which is important for immune support. Whenever you're sick, has anyone ever said, hey, get some more zinc in you? Chromium, selenium is also good for immune support and other microminerals. So now we're not getting them. Now our potential for getting sick increases and really depleted. Plus, it increases the gut flora population. It destroys healthy intestinal bacteria in the gut. How many of you have ever heard of leaky gut or heard of gut issues? We're seeing a lot of it's not that we're seeing more of it, it's just we're becoming more aware. This has been going on for years. I'm from a functional medicine perspective, which is where we look at what is optimal. Are you trending toward a disease state? Not what's normal. Are you currently in a disease state? Yeah, our gut is actually our second brain, Judith. Yeah. Our gut is actually our second brain. There are neurotransmitters in the gut. So if you're not getting the good bacteria, bad bacteria can increase. Yeast is a type of bacteria, so potentially chronic yeast infections. That was me back in the day. I had chronic yeast infections every month. It's like I'm dealing with another one. By the way, I'm very 100 and transparent. I have a medical background, so sometimes I will say some things that you're like, oh, okay, a little comfortable. That's okay. That's okay. So immune problems, skin disorders, nutrient deficiencies, and digestive distress, constipation or diarrhea or both. I have, women when they first come to me, they have both issues. Stress also decreases our thyroid hormone, which now our metabolism's messed up. Yeah, now it's, dry skin. Maybe we're losing some hair. This is thyroid issues, not in of itself, but usually it's indicative of thyroid issues. Dry skin, losing hair, can't lose weight. Our thyroid tests are coming back. Yeah, my thyroid's low. It decreases sex hormones. First off, you got no energy as it is, and now your sex hormones are decreased. You got no energy to play or to play. Yeah. So, secret number one, we got to start your day off right. We got to start off with energy so that when you're hit with stress, whether it's rush hour traffic and it's making you late for work or to your next appointments, it's not decreasing your energy so much so where you feel like you've got nothing left to give. First off, it's as easy as toss it back. Water, water. So, an easy way to jumpstart your energy and reset your system first thing in the morning is 20 ounces of water. This is a liter. So 20 ounces is about here. 20 ounces. So it's like for some of you, it might be like, oh, wow, that's a lot of water. Even just this much. Just a lot of water. I do like 3 of these a day, by the way. So don't sip on the water. Drink as much as you can in one go without feeling like your belly's about to bust. Why do we want to drink water? Does anyone remember the molecular structure of water? It's H2O. We've got hydrogen and oxygen. So when we are drinking the water, we're getting some oxygen naturally into our cells and into our muscles. I had a client of mine, Nancy, we actually worked together previously in a surgery center, and she came to me, she's like, you know what, I've got no energy. I'm like, what do you got? What do you do for energy? Like, do you have any recommendations? I'm like, well, hey, do you drink water in the morning? She's like, well, I have my cup of coffee, sometimes tea, but I don't really drink water, just water in the morning. I said, look, try it. Tomorrow, when you wake up, drink 20 ounces of water before you have your coffee, before you have your breakfast. Just drink 20 ounces of water. Try to get it in one go. Don't slowly sip it, and an hour later, you're still working on it. Just drink as much as you can. She looked at me, she said, are you kidding me? Like, just drink water? I said, try it for a week. We'll talk next week, and, we'll look at what else is potentially going on. She texted me 3 days later, no lie. She's like, OMG, there's something with this water. I've got more energy. I never knew that water could actually do that for you. Plus, with water, most of us are a little bit dehydrated to begin with. So, and we haven't had anything to drink from the time we're in bed. You might have had a sip or two here or there if you wake up, have to use the restroom, but we're going at least 5, 6, 7, 8 hours without having anything to drink. So we tend to be a little bit dehydrated. So we really do need to drink water first thing in the morning. So tonight before you go to bed, get something fun too. I'm like, get a wine glass, get something fun so you're not like, oh, it's me, I gotta drink water. Right? Make it fun. I have these just because they're more convenient. Put it by your bedside or in your bathroom, wherever it would be easy for you to actually see. We're very visual people. So if we see it, we will tend to do it, right? Which is why if we see the candy, we want it. If we hadn't seen the candy, we don't want it, right? So if we see it, it will remind us, drink the water. Now, if you're one that you take a lot of medications or supplements, you're naturally drinking water to begin with first thing in the morning, you're probably pretty much covered, but make sure you're drinking at least 20 ounces with that. All right. So once again, it hydrates our entire system. It's vital for your cell, tissue, and organ regeneration, helps deliver oxygen, and it keeps your blood at the right consistency. If you ever had labs done, once again, I look at what's optimal, not normal. Are you trending toward a disease state? You might have gotten a lab work called fibrinogen, and it might have been a little high. Blood's a little sticky, a little sticky. Sometimes we don't need to do a medication. Sometimes we just need to be hydrated. Be hydrated. A little more education on that one. So the first thing in the morning, what we want to do, eat breakfast. It says within 1 hour. What's optimal is within 30 minutes of waking up. Okay. To prevent a blood sugar crash in the morning. Now, most standard American diet, that SAD diet, yes, that we are programmed and are grown up to eat for most of us, tends to be very high in carbohydrates, very, very little protein. All carbohydrates, no matter where they come from, whether it be starches or, sugar or vegetables or fruit, all carbohydrates turn to sugar. It's just what type of sugar they turn into. So when we're eating a very carb heavy breakfast, whether it be waffles or bagels or pancakes or crepes or Pop Tarts or oatmeal, yes, oatmeal. I have, you hear all about oatmeal, you need oatmeal. It's too high in carbs, you're going to be on a sugar crash. Usually you'll have a sugar high and then a crash. What goes up must come down. And then you're tired and then you're craving because you're low on energy. So if you ever felt like a crash at like around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, what have you eaten? Have you eaten any breakfast to begin with? Right? Oatmeal makes you hungry. Yeah, Judith. Why? It's because it's not really filling. It's just straight up carbs with that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so what do we want is we want protein. So think of eggs if you can do eggs. Protein shakes, really good clean protein shakes. I'm going to give you two brands that you can get right from Walmart or your local grocery store or even from Amazon. Okay? Walmart's cheaper though. Amazon's increased their prices. But they actually had a deal on Prime Day. So so get your notes out. Two good protein shakes to do. They're very clean and they're budget friendly, which is why I usually share these. Their first one is called Owen, OWYN. It stands for only what you need. Oh, I threw mine away. I literally had one for breakfast. Only what you need. It's a very clean, vegetarian and vegan. The reason why I don't promote whey type shakes is because most women cannot do dairy. Not that they're lactose intolerant, it's just dairy increases inflammation for most women. Plus, it destroys thyroid. Just a little extra information for you. So that's why I usually don't share a whey one. So vegan, vegetarian, for those of you who are on those eating type plans, it has some superfoods in with it, and it's only like 5 grams of carbohydrates, so it's low in sugar. Be very careful because they have a nutritional shake, which is kind of like a meal replacement, but it really has way too many carbs in it for the amount of protein you get. So there's a 20-gram one that if you're just starting and you're not really a big breakfast eater, I get it, which is why I do protein shakes because I don't like a lot of volume on my stomach first thing in the morning. I've never been a big breakfast eater. For me, breakfast, like an omelet or whatever, would be like 10 o'clock in the morning, right? It's how I've always been. So protein shake, by the way, they have pre-made ones where you can throw in your fridge and take and go, or they're powder ones. Both are good. I love the dark chocolate ones. That's me. I love the dark chocolate. Vanilla's okay, but I'm very picky with my vanilla. They have strawberry banana, but Walmart and your local grocery store, they cater to what is bought the most, so you might not see the flavors that you like. If you're like, hey, I'm already eating high protein breakfast, I know this is important, but I want to scale it up. They have a 30 and a 32-gram one, which is just protein, no superfoods. It's just protein in it. So I'll have one like right after dinner to increase my protein for the day. Very good clean. The next one is Aloha, spelled Aloha. This one you don't see as often, at least where I live in the grocery store, but once again, Amazon has it, or you can go to some place like thrivemarket.com has very clean, um, higher end kind of foods and things like that. They have, once again, it's like 20 grams. It is a vegan, vegetarian source, very clean. Now, for the Owen shakes, they don't say organic on their label because not every ingredient is organic, but most of them are, but it is non-GMO as well. So if you can't find anything organic, non-GMO is second best. Organic's optimal, non-GMO is better, is best. Instead of good, better, best, I do better, better, best, optimal for me. All right, so now you got some options when it comes to breakfast, right? If you're going to do like sausage, bacon, make sure it's like at least organic, free range, a cleaner source because sourcing is appropriate. Why? It's because it'll increase your energy. Part of what I do with my Revitalize and Reclaim events, they implement some of the strategies that I use, one of them being eat protein. The next day they come back, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I didn't have the energy slump. Now, let me give you a caveat to this, okay? Because when you start to increase your protein at breakfast time, okay, you might be a little bit hungry, especially if you just do protein, the protein shake, and it doesn't have any carbohydrates in it. And that's okay. Protein first thing in the morning is fuel and it stokes your metabolism. It stokes the fire of your metabolism. If you have a fireplace in your home or if you've ever gone camping and then you go to bed, you tend to bank the fire. If you go camping, you tend to get it all out. But the next morning, there might be little embers still there. And maybe you want that fire again. Well, what do? You need to put fuel on that fire, some kindling, some wood, or whatever source you use. I used to have growing up, we had a coal stove. That was our source of fuel. So we need to put fuel onto the fire of metabolism. So if you start with protein in the morning and you have not been doing this and you're like, oh my gosh, what did Pamela tell me? Now I'm hungry. It's okay. Your metabolism is working. Just get some more protein with a little bit of carbohydrates. Totally cool. Just get a little bit of a snack. It's okay to be hungry. It's when we starve ourselves for 3 days in a row that our body on day three starts to go into that starvation mode. Okay. It's okay. So you will have energy when stressed because stress will deplete your energy. So get in the habit. Optimal is within 30 minutes, but if you can get it in within an hour of waking up, your protein. So now you got water first thing in the morning and then protein within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up to get energy. Okay, less is more. Can you see what that picture is? Caffeinate responsibly. I have a cup of coffee almost every day, organic coffee almost every day. Be mindful though. We tend to gravitate sources of caffeine, whether it be coffee, tea, chocolates, other sources of tea, those energy drinks, sources of caffeine when we're stressed. Why? It's because we're low on energy. Here's what the University of Oklahoma study found. First off, coffee in and of itself does increase cortisol, but it's not like a huge jump. It just naturally increases cortisol. So there's a little bit more of a sugar and a caffeine increase in our body, which is why we gravitate towards caffeinated beverages because we feel that spike for us. However, when we are stressed and we are drinking caffeinated beverages or eating foods that have caffeine in it, chocolate being one of them, here's what happens. By the way, a cup of coffee in the study was 6 ounces. What's a small coffee at the local coffee shop? It tends to be 12 ounces. So that's 2 cups of coffee right there per the study. So the University of Oklahoma found that drinking 2.5 to 3 cups of coffee while under mild stress increases cortisol by 25% and keeps it up for 3 hours. Cortisol is a sugar. Okay, now we got some blood sugar instability going on. You don't need to be diabetic or pre-diabetic to have blood sugar issues going on underlying, which is an underlying source of weight gain and difficulty losing weight. It's blood sugar instability for 3 hours. OMG. I'm not saying ditch the caffeine, I'm saying just be mindful. They saw that drinking 6 cups of coffee while under mild stress, 6 cups, which is probably like your grande, your venti, or your medium or large, depending on where you get your coffee or what you make for yourself during the day. Cortisol increased cortisol by 30%, and it stayed high all day long. OMG. So if you ever felt like you just can't stop eating, you've got the cravings, take a look at your stress level and your caffeine consumption. So just be mindful of how much caffeine that you consume while stressed to keep the cortisol levels down to prevent cravings, binge eating, eating sugary foods the next day. By the way, if you put artificial sweeteners in it, caffeine, great question, Leslie. Caffeine from black tea better or the same? It just depends on your sourcing. Coffee is the most contaminated produce in the planet, on the planet. Why? It's because we got a lot of herbicides and pesticides. So if you're not drinking coffee that is organic, now think about it, you've got those grounds and the hot water is just pulling all those toxins and chemicals into your cup of coffee. versus black tea that might be sourced a little bit better. It's not as contaminated as coffee, right? So it's not necessarily the caffeine, it's the sourcing, if that makes sense for you, Leslie. It's the sourcing. So I always recommend organic for coffee. Um, if you can, organic is best. Non-GMO, is organic is optimal. Non-GMO is best. Same thing with your teas too, though. Organic is optimal, but that's a great question. So it's not necessarily the type of caffeine. They pretty much have about the same amount of caffeine. It's the sourcing of that. Green tea has less. It's green tea still has caffeine, but it has definitely has less. Your herbal teas, no caffeine at all. You're welcome. Be mindful because there are some tea that have extra caffeine in it because they know people are looking for caffeine. So there are some green teas that actually have more. Shutdown secret number 2 to de-stress, be zen and just breathe. How many of you are familiar with breath work or have done any type of breath work or yoga? So the type of breath work that I'm going to be teaching you is very similar to that. Why do we want to breathe? Because breathing tricks the brain into thinking we're not stressed. Because as we're doing this breathing, we're doing it slowly. We're doing deep diaphragmatic breathing. So we're breathing, our diaphragm is under our stomach. So think belly button area. We're taking the nice deep breath and getting oxygen in. We're naturally slowing down our breathing rates, which naturally slows down our heart rate, which naturally slows and lowers our blood pressure. And the brain goes, oh my gosh, I thought I was stressed, but I'm breathing like a relaxed person. Let's turn on the parasympathetic peace, rest, and digestion part of the nervous system. Usually turns off. In fact, studies show when they researched participants who were stressed and they tested their cortisol via the saliva, before they did the breath work and after, the breath work significantly decreased their cortisol to almost where it was normal baseline cortisol for that part of the day. It's quite interesting. So this is also used as treatment for anxiety disorders and PTSD, breathwork wise, because there's usually an immediate response that you feel in your body as well. So it turns off the stress, sympathetic nervous system and turns on the peace, parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. Now, as long there's different things you can look on YouTube. There's the box breathing, which simply means you're inhaling, holding, and exhaling the same number, like 4 4 4 6 6 6. I tend to do, by the way, here's just a snapshot when you Google on the benefits of breathing. It lowers blood pressure, reduces stress and anxiety. It helps with the stress response. It helps with attention, stress and mental health. And this one on the right hand side is from the National Institutes for Health, where they just looked at different papers on stress and they found that, by the way, it helps decrease inflammation. Woohoo! Inflammation, the number one driver of disease in the body. Yeah. So I tend to teach because I found for most women, they actually like this one a little bit better, the 5-5-7 breath. The first 5 is you're going to inhale for that count of 5. Second 5, you're going to hold. 7 is your exhale. Okay. And I often mention, I recommend before your next meal and whenever you feel stress, why do we want to do deep breathing before we eat? It's to make sure that your stress response is off and your digestion is on so that the meal that you eat can be properly digested. By the way, if we are eating when we're stressed, it promotes fat storage. It does, of course, it's not uptaking it. So those healthy fats we're eating gets put on our belly, our hips, our butt. It promotes fat storage. So you inhale for a count of 5. You hold that for a count of 5, and then you exhale for a count of 7. So you breathe in through your nose. You exhale through your mouth. The exhale sounds like this. Shh, shh. So it kind of sounds like the ocean or Darth Vader. You have to use your diaphragm to make that sound. If you do this 10 times, you will de-stress in 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to do this 10 times. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to demonstrate. Get some water first. So I'm going to inhale, hold, and exhale. I'm going to count with my fingers so you can see where I'm at. It's going to look like this. So I did that 3 repetitions. So if you do 10 repetitions, that's 2 minutes. If you do 5 repetitions, that's 1 minute. You can literally turn off the stress response in 2 minutes or less, depending on how stressed you are. So, are you ready to give this a try? We're going to do this. You ready to give this a try? All right, so I'm going to count. We're going to do some repetitions of this. It's best if you sit with your feet on the floor. Or for me, I'm a little on the shorter scheme of things. I'm like 5'1", so I actually have a footstool right now at my desk. So my feet are on the footstool. But you want to sit a little bit taller. And also, I'm going to turn sideways. You don't want your head down. It blocks off your airway. Can you see that? You want your head up, but not hyperextended. You want it neutral because that opens up your airway, not down like this. Okay. You open up your airway, you get that deeper breath in. Now, if you've not done breath work before, or if it's been quite some time and you've been under stress, you might not be able to inhale for the whole count of 5 or exhale for the whole count of 7, and that's okay. The more repetitions that you do, the looser that you will get in your body and the more relaxed, and then you'll be able to inhale on 5 and exhale on 7. Okay, so I'm going to count out. When I count it out, I'm going to say inhale and count, hold, count, exhale and count. All right. Ready? Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just breathe naturally. That was 5 repetitions. So I'm curious, for those of you who did that, how do you feel? Do you notice any difference? Some women state they notice their shoulders are down, not that they notice that they were up to begin with, but they're like, oh, my shoulders are down. If you were yawning, that means your rest has now been turned on, and that potentially rest has not been turned on all that much for you. So that was 5 repetitions. We're going to do another 5. Okay. Once again, sit in neutral position. I'm going to count for you. Ready? Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Inhale, one, two, three, four, five. Hold, one, two, three, four, five. Exhale, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So if we didn't take that break in between the first and the last, that would be 10 sessions, 10 repetitions in a row. So any difference with that? And if you're not noticing a difference, potentially your stress is not that high, right? Maybe you're at a lower bit of stress. And I recommend before you eat and before bedtime as well. If it's difficult for you to fall asleep, make sure your rest is turned on. Do some deep breathing with this as well, because it will increase before meals our digestive capacity. We will properly digest our food. It will help your body pull more nutrients from the food that you're eating. Let's get some energy from those nutrients. Let's get our protein so we're not muscle wasting. And the food that we eat will not be stored as fat. Yeah. So grab your gifts. I'll repost the link again in the chat. My gift to you is a 20-minute weight loss method. If you feel like that overeating is an issue for you, this will help you with that. Okay? And it doesn't cost you anything. There's nothing in here that you have to buy. It's all free within the 20-minute weight loss method. It will help you with what's called starting to do more of an intuitive eating and not do mindless eating. So it's mindful eating with the 20-minute weight loss method. Gift number 2, I am offering 45-minute sessions, which I call a weight loss audit. When you schedule your time, there are some questions to answer. It helps me to get an idea of where you're at, okay? What's going on. During the course of our session time, I'm going to ask you some more questions. I'm going to ask about all different areas of your life because I'm going to play detective. I'm going to gather this information, and with that information, I'm going to make recommendations and give you like a 30-day game plan. What is the top priority? What is it to work on? How do you in your life kind of navigate that, right? I only offer these during the event times. Spots are limited. So if you're like, I really want this, but I can't find any openings, just respond to the emails that are going out to you or let me know in the chat and I will open up some more spots on my calendar. I literally opened up more spots last night because spots were filling up. You also get a free ticket to my upcoming Revitalize and Reclaim event. If you're liking what I'm sharing with you, if you're like, oh, I've got some ahas already, I've got some more ahas with the Revitalize and Reclaim event. This is going to be a hands-on where you're going to actually start creating a plan on day one and implementing. It's a 2-day virtual event, by the way. Spots are limited, and I keep the attendance low because I'm actually going to be doing some coaching with everyone during the time. Past participants have mentioned, "Oh my gosh, you gave us all the how. I'm not struggling with knowing not only what to do but how to do it." I'm going to help you to learn how to conquer low energy, crush cravings, master your thoughts and emotions. So if emotional stress eating is a struggle to overcome for you, that one is going to be a huge help for you, all without sacrificing your time or your enjoyment for food. I'm going to repost the links. Let me just grab them real quick for y'all again. Any questions about anything that I've gone over so far for you guys? So yeah, definitely some really good things to implement. If you're not currently doing it, drink some water first thing in the morning. That is a huge game changer for those who don't do it. That's everyone says they feel like they have an immediate boost of energy. Getting some protein in first thing in the morning. Let's get the fuel and the fire of your metabolism. Let's get you some energy before you're hit with the stress and the deep diaphragmatic breathing to turn off the stress response and turn off the peace, rest, and digest response as well.